Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode. For those of you who may have liked, shared, subscribed, reach out, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you. Today, we're going to be talking about vision. And when you look at the plants really know their future is to bear fruit. That's what's in their horizon. And the question you ask yourself is more or less when you talk about vision is, where do I see myself in the future? Near future, near future, nearest future. Our anchor bearing is going to be taken from Habakkuk 2, verse 2 to 3. And it says, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come." Now, every thriving garden begins with intention. A gardener doesn't just scatter seeds without thought and hope for fruit. There is a desired outcome in mind. So the gardener he plants his place, you get your cups, you get your pots, you get everything ready because that is what your intent is. Same thing when you're looking at vision. Vision exists before the first roots form, long before the leaves appear. Each seed is placed according to a purpose, not convenience. In the same way, a fruitful life is shaped by the direction God establishes long before visible results appear. So, practical example, this is just on me. Like, I think everybody will look at it. When you're thinking of a garden, you're planning, I think, how many plants am I going to grow? What type of plants am I going to grow? How much fruit am I hoping to get? And things like that. So, last year, I decided to get a greenhouse just to contain and keep my things all together. And before I decided to start planting, okay, fine, the idea was, what type of greenhouse do I want? What size of greenhouse do I want? Where do I want it to be? How many plants can each greenhouse contain? That was my vision for my garden. I wanted my plants to be in greenhouses. And that's really how it goes with gardening. So take that aspect of gardening and just try to apply it when you're living life to its fullest. So when you're looking at gardening, vision in gardening is more than preference. It is purpose. When a gardener plants tomatoes, there's a clear expectation that they're going to get fruit. It could be one, it could be two, it could be five, but there is going to be fruit. The seed was chosen carefully because it carries a specific future within it. Every action the gardener takes is for that seed to yield fruit. Spiritually, and when you're talking about life, the vision works the same way. God does not call us to drift aimlessly. He calls us towards an expected end. We talked about purpose before, earlier on, I think it was lesson 1 or 2 or 3. But the idea is, even when you have a purpose, the vision clarifies that purpose. It will tell you what to nurture, what to prune, where to spend time, where to invest energy, which relationships need strengthening, which relationships don't need strengthening. Without a vision, life becomes reactive. You just take whatever comes your way. So the way it is, if without a vision, we respond to whatever comes, we respond to pressure, we respond to comparison. But with visions, decisions you make become deliberate. We press forward with steadiness because we know that what we are going towards. There's a direction we're heading to. And also, when you look at the idea of vision, also from a gardening perspective, it also protects us. A gardener who understands the intended harvest does not panic when growth appears small or when growth appears stalled. That's just it. You're gardening, you know what's coming up. When you see your leaves, you know your leaves is not what you're looking for, it's not the end product. You continue whatever it is you're doing until you get your fruit. That's why a vision remains unchanged when we understand what the vision in what God's direction is regarding that vision. Temporary setbacks do not deter us, they don't divide our identity. The vision is what anchors us where we're going. It helps us to navigate through the seasons of waiting. It strengthens us during the season of pruning, and it reminds us that growth is progressive, not instant. Now, something to also notice: true vision is not self-centered. It's not like a self-centered ambition. It is more or less alignment with God's design. Because when our vision reflects His calling, our growth becomes both peaceful and purposeful. We are no longer chasing every opportunity we find. We are cultivating what he has planted. Now, like a gardener, you planted tomatoes and you're nurturing your tomatoes. When you see a pepper, you will not run and chase the pepper because you know your tomatoes are coming. So that's the idea. It keeps you focused on what your purpose is and going in terms of what is aligned. Now, for example, last year I knew I was focusing on growing peppers and tomatoes. I know somebody asked, Amina, can we not plant, or my kids came, can we not plant corn? Or can we not plant something else? I'm like, no, 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 the vision for this year is tomatoes and peppers. That's the same way the vision for this year, we know what it is we're going to do and we work towards it. We're not deterred by whatever happens because we have a focus and we know where we're heading. So talking about 5 steps to create and align with vision. And step 1 is to clarify the intended harvest. Just as a gardener chooses a crop before preparing the soil, spend intentional time in prayer to understand what kind of fruit God is developing in your life. Vision becomes clearer when you seek God's purpose rather than your own preference. It's not about what you want, it's about what God wants. That's just it. If you can, write it in a sentence you can read daily and keep it somewhere visible. Then, when that's done, attach one behavior to the vision. So it moves from an idea to practice. For example, now, if the vision is patience, one thing you can easily do is practice pausing before responding in conversation. Do you understand? If one of the visions is to develop more of a listening ear, before you talk, bite your tongue. When somebody's talking to you, the idea of don't want to talk back, maybe bite your tongue or count to 10 before you respond. Practice those things. Now, vision becomes steady when it is connected to repeated action. And over time, that repetition just makes it become whereby every other thing arranges itself around what you truly value, rather than what demands your attention. Now, step 2 is to prepare your inner soil. Healthy plants require cultivated ground. Examine your heart and gently remove bitterness, distractions, comparison, or doubt. Now, I like the Nike slogan, yes, you can do it. That's the idea. When you're gardening, no matter what happens, you know you believe in that plant, it's going to produce. You will do what you need to do to make it produce. That's the same way it is. For some people, it may mean forgiving people. For some people, it might be reducing time spent on influences that stir unrest. For some people, it might be creating quiet space where reflection is possible. The idea is each removal, once you remove those things, starts softening the soil. And most importantly, invite God to search your motives and correct them with kindness. Because sometimes we feel we're doing the right thing. When we dig down, really, our motives are not necessarily in the right space. Now, FYI by the side, vision grows where the heart is willing and the heart is teachable to change. Step 3, commit to consistent cultivation. Gardens require regular watering and attention, not occasional effort. Establish a daily rhythm that you can sustain. It could be a moment of prayer before the day begins, a reading of scripture slowly, one intentional action that reflects your vision. Keeping it realistic so it continues even on busy days. For somebody that wants to lose weight, easy things I pick. For someone example that wants to lose weight, pick healthy habits. If you say, okay, fine, you want to eat healthy, then do that. Start by doing things regularly and consistently. That will help. Once you do it consistently, and before you know it, it then becomes into your schedule, it becomes repeated. It's like default. Step 4, evaluate your growth honestly. A gardener periodically checks progress to ensure alignment with the original design. So set aside weekly moments, it could be weekly reflection, it could be quarterly reflection, it could be annual reflections, to see whether everything is still aligned with your vision and where you have drifted. So what you do is notice patterns rather than isolated mistakes. Then choose one small adjustment for coming week. I know I like to use the idea of losing weight, but let me just go with the idea of losing weight. So you've been eating healthy, and then suddenly one day you decide to go binge on ice cream. Forget about the past. How are you going to pick up yourself and move on? And instead of going, okay, fine, no, why beating yourself up for eating ice cream? More or less the idea of what led you to binge on the ice cream. If it is something that's what you look out for in terms of next steps or next thing. So evaluate your growth honestly. Be true to yourself. Know the truth. Are you heading towards your vision or am I derailing? What can you do to bring it back? And then step 5 is to trust the appointed season. Now, harvest does not come the day after planting. Everything in life takes time for you to yield sustainable results. So when progress may seem slow, continue practicing the same faithful steps without rushing change. Resist comparing your development to other people and abandoning your steady habits. Just like as it's like I don't know why the idea of weight just comes to mind. I remember one time, once in a while, myself and my sister, we were on a weight loss path, and we're doing exercise every day and we're eating healthy. And then after a couple of weeks, I noticed my sister's trousers was falling off her waist, so my own was still the same size. I was like, what's happening? But in the long run, it was more of the idea of, and I got discouraged. It's more, don't compare. There is a season. Continue at what it is. Your season and your appointed time will come. Different things affect different things. Different things affect different things grow. So trust your appointed season and do not compare. Allow your vision and your plants or your seeds to mature into something lasting rather than temporary. So action item for this week is to set aside quite uninterrupted time and quietly and prayerfully write a clear description of the fruit you desire your life to produce in this season. Be specific. And see, the idea is no vision is most of no, we are saying no vision is wrong. I was going to say no vision is wrong, but the idea is write your vision, write what it is. Let get God involved. So at least you're sure it's on the right path. And then, if you can, keep it written somewhere where you can see it. That way, to guide your daily actions. And then, one small habit that strengthens your direction and practice at the same time every day. Identify one distraction that weakens it, and then work on how to reduce that. I said, rather than doing everything at once, do it gently. And gently replace the distraction with a supporting habit whenever it appears. Allow repetition to train your attention and steady attention to shape your growth. Start small, do it, repeat it. When you do it over and over and over again, before you know it, it becomes sustainable and becomes part of you, and it will work towards your growth. And then our reminder for this week is just Proverbs 29 verse 18, which says, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. And a bit of encouragement, like when you're looking at a vision is not about seeing the entire future, but about faithfully choosing the right direction today and continuing it tomorrow. It's not you're making one choice, correct choice today, but also thinking about it as it proceeds in the future. Simple acts such as praying before rushing, responding with patience instead of irritation, declining what distracts you from your calling, quietly shape who you develop into. Remember, what to become tomorrow is quietly decided by the direction we accept today. And that's it for this episode. If you like additional resources, please feel free to reach out. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You have yourself a wonderful day. Bye bye.